The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's Musou spin-off is a mostly familiar jaunt that is made more satisfying thanks to a series of small but impactful combat additions.
Welcome back, Your Majesties.
Those who played The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom have likely wondered what exactly Princess Zelda got up to after being transported to Hyrule's first age. The answer, at least according to Nintendo and Koei Tecmo, is repeatedly lay into tens of thousands of enemy shades, Moblins, and Zonai Constructs, apparently. It's not exactly what I pictured in my head, I'll admit, but such circumstances are perfectly in line with what the prior two Hyrule Warriors games have taught us. In fairness, Age of Imprisonment carries a bit more weight this time since its events are 100% canon and not shuffled off into an alternate timeline. But don't be too fooled. Above all else, this is still a Musou game in the vein of Dynasty Warriors proper and its various other spin-offs. Providing you know that going in, however, there's still a lot of fun to be had and sheer spectacle to be seen in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Although not a drastic departure from 2020's Zelda Breath of the Wild prequel, Age of Calamity, it's fascinating to see just how much of Tears of the Kingdom's core iconography and familiar elements have been squeezed into this more action-orientated format. Battling through the imprisoning war isn't groundbreaking by any means, yet an eclectic selection of playable heroes and some fairly riveting story moments saves any repetition from setting in. As such, it's never a chore to stay engaged in the Zelda-flavoured 1 vs 100 action. The aspect that continues to impress me most about Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, once again, is just how well Koei Tecmo has made the game feel like a true Zelda game despite looking and playing as something extremely different. Whether it be the playful chirp that plays each time you open a chest, the subtle shadowing seen on characters' cel-shaded models, or battling through familiar sights such as the Great Plateau or the Depths, Age of Imprisonment does a great job tying into Tears of the Kingdom neatly, at least in terms of its surface level presentation. Obviously, where the prequel differs most is in what it has you doing, which largely boils down to hacking and slashing endless waves of Ganondorf's army as a host of different characters, both returning and totally new. Events pick up almost immediately after Princess Zelda is teleported back hundreds of years and discovered by Hyrule's first king, Rauru. Yet it isn't long before the over-the-top decimation begins. Fortunately, much like Age of Calamity before it, Age of Imprisonment grants you a wealth of tools and systems that makes you feel uniquely powerful in a way that no other The Legend of Zelda game ever really does. And better yet, the story's emphasis on Zelda herself here gives this rendition of the character a larger, more satisfying sense of agency. As far as combat-driven spin-offs fare, I'd be hard-pressed to ask for much more. Getting into the action proper then, and it shouldn't be shocking to learn that batting away hordes of ugly Hylian creatures is immensely satisfying. Each playable hero comes equipped with their own specific weapon and set of special combat skills that are tied to a cooldown, all of which helps to further shake up the rhythm of battle and assures a decent degree of combat variety. Zelda, as the first person you play as, can work melee wonders with her Blade of Light, unleashing attacks like Piercing Light able to quickly penetrate large groups, or Temporal Toss, which sees her throw her blade into a foe and temporarily stop time before summoning it back again. These types of special attacks barely scratch the surface of what other characters are capable of though, because while getting to play as iconic characters only ever glimpsed briefly in Tears of the Kingdom, such as King Rauru himself or his more gadget-focused sister, Minoru, is cool, the full flexibility and variety of Age of Imprisonment is fully made known once you start unlocking original side characters belonging to the Gerudo, Ruto, and other Hylian races. Almost all function by repeatedly hammering whatever stone talus or bokoblin boss next rears their head, yet how they go about doing so is always slightly different, with new special attacks and Zonai devices to make use of. Speaking of which, as one of the main elements that helps separate Breath of the Wild from Tears of the Kingdom, you can bet that Zonai devices play a huge role here. They essentially work as deployable gadgets that sit alongside each character's unique suite of special attacks, letting you unleash elemental abilities like Frost, Fire, and Shock against the larger enemies when it best makes sense. Some of the quirkier Zonai devices, like rockets and fans, have less straightforward functions that I won't spoil. Yet again though, it's another small but mighty example of how Age of Imprisonment truly fully understands the assignment. Another unique Zelda flavor Age of Imprisonment utilizes, of course, is the inclusion of 3 layers, being the surface, the skies, and of course, the depths. While you definitely spend the most time battling and taking over enemy encampments in Hyrule itself, duking it out against armies in both the dark and dreary underground caverns of the depths and clusters of islands found in the sky makes for some seriously nice aesthetic variety. Whereas Age of Calamity had the divine beasts to rely upon in order to create larger set-piece moments, Imprisonment still manages to dazzle in its spectacle, mostly with the animation of each character's weak point smash, yes, yet also via brief on-rail sections where you fly through the sky and attack from above. Though far simpler than the on-foot combat, if you've ever wondered what a Rogue Squadron take on Zelda would look like, then Age of Imprisonment has you covered. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is a perfect example of a spin-off to a beloved mainline series that shouldn't work anywhere near as well as it should, but does. True, there's not a lot totally new going on here mechanically that helps set it apart from Age of Calamity before it, but the heavily crowded melee action runs a lot smoother thanks to the power of Nintendo Switch 2. Plus, the addition of Zonai devices and all new sync attacks that allows any playable hero to team up with another makes fighting through Tears of the Kingdom's previously hinted at imprisoning war a familiar yet fun combat experience with plenty of flair. Murdering millions of Moblins is simply a cathartic sensation you won't get in any other Zelda game. Is it mindless? Yes, but still wholeheartedly satisfying. We at All Out Gaming give Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment a 4 out of 5. So there you have it, guys, in terms of our full review thoughts of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. If you plan on picking this one up, be sure to let us know in the comment section below, and then why not subscribe to the All Out Gaming YouTube channel to stay up to date with even more videos like this. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.